COL. Actually, COL.prive here on irc.gamesurge.net, but we're not. So we're going to hand it over to our commentators, who could also tell us a little bit about the past. We do have Emo and Topical. Take it away, boys.
Yes, thank you so much, Trace. I'm Topical, joined with me is Emote, and it's Ghost versus compLexity. Pistol round underway. I can't wait for us to take a little bit of a break so we can talk about the history of this team, especially Ghost. This is one of those teams that I started really casting a lot of these original players, so we are into it. Underway, an ace strike from compLexity, and Ghost Gaming are giving them everything they want. It's a field, a wide open site, nary a tree in the way. Stanislaw will plant the bomb, and it'll be a 5-on-5 full retake. No damage even dealt till just now. Wardell in the bottom of connectors, able to get one, and he had some serious trigger discipline, or at least just to keep his calm, cool, collected mind. Only fired off 3 bullets, though. Need to do a little bit more damage, as right now Ghost Gaming are struggling to get in. Sick with the next one. Kusta on the flank. Now compLexity have only what they have done with the over push. They got themselves into jungle, but they're going to be surrounded quickly. So Kusta is now in a 1v1. Does not know where Shazam is. He's in fact in the connector. Kusta needs that kit out there as well, I believe, because he's going to be out in the open. Shazam secures pistol.
Yeah, that was a nice attempt from Kusta. Ghost Gaming there pretty much waited the retake out to allow Kusta to get set up towards that ramp. Some great shots from him. Unfortunately, not knowing where Shazam is and not having a kit forces him to turn his attention right back to the bomb, and Shazam at that point catches him off with a lovely USB headshot to put compLexity up 1-0 here.
Yep, and to get to what I was talking about earlier, Ghost Gaming, this team, or what this roster used to be, it was actually B's money crew way back in the day. I think Belos is still the manager for the crew, and Neptune's still in there. Of course, we've added quite a few players since. Steele's joining the team. I believe Wardell at this point is the most veteran player for this Ghost lineup. He's been quite some time here as being the designated opper.
Definitely. I mean, Ghost Gaming, or BMC as they were known before they became Ghost Gaming, a team that's come up through the ranks like you just said. Now they find themselves in Pro League and had a really good Pro League season in the previous one during Season 8, so they're going to look to reciprocate that type of finish here in this Season 9. Right now, though, compLexity off the Superman buy will be boosting one in window. It does look like Sick will be able to catch a little bit of damage onto Kusta here, but the window boost has happened. And actually, the window player in Stanislaw has made his way into CT spawn as Shazam begins to open up that A bomb site.
So Kusta being so wounded as he is, I would love to see that FAMAS be handed over to a player that has more health on them. Everybody else is more healthy considering he's at 16 HP. Stanislaw is actually everything owned all the way back towards CT spawn. So default box plant will be very, very easy. Sick is going to be the linchpin on the at least catching rotators. We're just catching him right on deck, right in the bottom of connector. Give him a couple kills against Neptune and Freakazoid, and suddenly Steele's left alone. Ghost just didn't have that mid control necessary. compLexity had gotten into that A site, and then all their attention was drawn into that A site without anybody looking for the lurk.
All right, and the force buy not paying off for Ghost Gaming now. I do imagine that Steel will be saving that Deagle in the B-bomb site, maybe looking for a couple exits. But it was a good idea out of Ghost. They realized that, hey, they can get it on the board very early. But compLexity made a great play in the middle of that, boosting up into window there as Stanislaw takes that entire control. I actually thought he was going to come around to jungle, but he opted against it. Went all the way into CT, and by the time he got to CT, the majority of the A site had been cleared with the final remaining Ghost members in that connector. Great smoke coming out from Stan as well to allow his teammates to cross, and that's going to thwart the Ghost Gaming surprise buy very easily. 2-0 is our scoreline here to start it off.
Right, and we will have a tech issue that will be resolved shortly, but we'll see what does Ghost Gaming need to do in their first rifle round. They did actually buy up quite a bit in that previous round. There was a FAMAS in there, there was a scout in there, and it only resulted in minor success. They got 1 kill. They did some damage, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. compLexity Gaming will just be able to brush off their shoulder and move into the third round with a ton of confidence that even this SMG in Stanislaw's hands and the FAMAS as well from nothing, Def could even buy like a MAC-10 here, and they should be able to completely just whitewash Ghost Gaming off the map.
Yeah, this should be a fairly easy round for compLexity now. I do imagine Ghost will be going for the full save here, but looking at the last 2 times these teams played, it was actually back in October of last year during the ESL Pro League Season 8, and they actually traded maps 1-1, being Nuke 16-6, which went the way of compLexity, and then Ghost took them out on Inferno 16-8. Nuke's actually our final map in this BO3 series. So if it goes to Nuke here, it'll be interesting to see if compLexity has that same strength, or if Ghost have progress, develop themselves on Nuke, and if they can bring it back and take it to complexity.
Sure. And I mean, just to even reach back even further than that, we were talking about Ghost Gaming used to be B's Money Crew, and complexity. Of course, its face has been shifted around quite a bit. Of course, Android no longer on the team, but these two rosters at one point, I remember it was like Fragadelphia, like 7 or something, way back. It's Philadelphia land,
yeah.
7 or 8, and that was a game that ended up going into the wee hours of the night.
It was actually Fragadelphia 10. How do I remember that? It actually started. That was the first time I casted with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, man.
There you go.
That's a ways back.
Yeah, that's about
the
2 or 3
Wayback
years
Machine.
ago. But yeah, so just going back to your point, these teams have faced off much different lineup in the past. I believe Whitmer was on complexity at the time, and on Ghost they had, I believe, Connor 93 was playing for them at the time. So much different lineup coming forward, and Ghost and complexity have developed themselves much more as a team since that time.
Well, now we're in the pro league, man. Now we've got way bigger stakes on hand.
Exactly.
And into this round, of course, we mentioned complexity actually having a huge advantage. That first SMG from Stanislaw yields no fruit at all. And in fact, nothing just gets double dinked with a nice pop flash in there from Steel as well. So you get 2 kills. It was an A-site stack, but as a matter of fact, now that you got 2 weapons like this, and bodies to expend, because the FAMAS might be nice in the next round. The UMP not so much, but the pistols can definitely get into the action here.
Freakazoid has made his way towards Catwalk as Ghost Gaming moving into the marketplace. Death will find himself 1 kill. He's dinked though down to 12 HP as Shazam takes down the cat flank of Freakazoid now. Kusta goes down as well, and it's all into Neptune and Wardell.
Okay, all those pistols are out of the way, and a good grenade comes in. That's going to hit both Neptune and Wardell, Wardell more so. But those pistols were expendable for Ghost Gaming, but they would wish that those pistols would have been like in an action sequence with the automatic weapons behind them so that they could make use of it. Right now, Steel, Freakazoid, and Kusta's lives are expended for all for naught. And then Wardell, his arms aren't that long. He's got little T-Rex arms trying to reach that rifle that was in there, but complexity take that round. It was a costly one.
Yeah, it was definitely a costly one for complexity, losing 3 members of their squad here, burning into that economy. But another new face on the complexity lineup, Sick, showing up on the complexity lineup after the dismantling of Rogue now as they've moved out of CSGO for the meantime. That's a great addition to the complexity roster as well. Sick has been a dominant force in NA. Yeah, he's been on Rogue for a while, hasn't really got a chance to shine, at the top tier of NA, but I think playing on this complexity lineup is exactly what he needs to really bring himself forward.
So this is the good round. This is where we have rifles on both teams. It's finally even strength. Oh, that grenade, though, that was nearly a 50 damage nade. Though still, he's swinging harder than Freakazoid is right now. He's been disarmed in mid. That op presence, though, for Wardell is looking for the trade. He does have one player that's made their way to the top boxes. So him being up there, if he's scoped in either to the boxes or to the corner, he's going to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and right now, Def has lurked his way towards the edge of B right now. Steel has no idea. He's actually going to check it, able to pick it up, gets away with 20 HP to even it up right now. We have a 4-on-4 with a minute just passing on the clock, and it does look like complexity will be regrouping, picking up that bomb, and developing an A hit.
Yeah, I feel like complexity are actually really sore that they lost Def right there without a trade, because they've been running on that equation for some time, it seems. So now they're going to try to execute to the A site with his casualty. They're going to walk into this in front of Wardell. He's got actually a leg shot, but look at the players melting behind him. Neptune's going to get 2 before Wardell comes back for a next shot. Excellent defense. Neptune was actually up, I believe, towards A main. Maybe had been in that in the Tetris region. But when complexity walked up through a connector, they end up actually in a crossfire.
Yeah, it was great from Wardell to actually peek out by that ticket booth. Takes a really big risk because there was an apartment player that could have timinged him and actually caught him off. But he's going to peek, gets the leg shot off, draws all the attention of everybody attacking A onto him, and that's what allows Neptune to get involved there. Neptune picks up 2 very easy frags. Wardell chimes in with one of his own after that, and Ghost Gaming are going to hop on the board with their first round here. And you know what? They're actually going to have complexity onto a semi-little pistol save right now.
That's right. Wardell having a little bit of trouble in mid. Kusta will be able to pick up some of the slack. And shortly, though, Steel, his op starts to fire through. He's going to need to fall back out of this position because it doesn't matter how much firepower you have in a single bullet. When you have that many Ts coming at you, you need to back off. But the players with the rifles have the automatics, and they'll be able to finish the job for him. No casualties for Ghost, which is a blessing for them because it's their economy was still in that infant phase. But with a round like that comes out, you basically have just earned yourself a freebie, a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yeah. All right, and looking at it right now, compLexity will be buying up into this round. They've bought up. They've spent all their dollars and efforts to get back involved in this game here, Dallas. So now Ghost moving into this round, I'm wondering if they're going to get that op a little more involved. They have the double op setup going. I'd like to see Steel maybe get aggressive towards B tunnels, maybe push up the catwalk. As for Wardell, well, he's opping the middle area. This is exactly where he needs to be. And yeah, look at Steel right now. He is getting aggressive towards those B tunnels, and this is a massive angle for him to cut off.
Both teams are just kind of sitting. Wardell's actually going to fall back towards CT spawn, possibly bumping Neptune out of his position, who's at ticket booth right now. So yes, he advances forward, and the A site defense shifts. Wardell having second thoughts whether he wants to defend mid or not. I'm sure Steel's giving him the direction to go towards A now. So compLexity are just sitting way back on their heels, waiting for Ghost Gaming to make a mistake right now.
Well, the initial thing with Wardell is he's going to check out mid. He's going to make sure nobody's out there early, make sure nobody's rushing it. And if they do smoke him off, then he's going to fall back to ticket booth. He doesn't get any action, so he does end up falling back at that point, to which he's now in one of the more stronger positions of this round, as it does look like compLexity is aiming once again for a window boost. As they do smoke it, Freakazoid taking out Sick with a nutty shot there to take down Freakazoid, and that's going to be our first kill of the round.
Yeah, Freakazoid actually won that timing. He had it perfect, but Sick was just really fast to flick back up into the left. So now Wardell's down. You have a player that's still in window, but Neptune is alone, and they've sniffed him out. They will be able to pull him out of that firebox position. He did great damage against Def, but that's probably asking too much for Steel and Kusta. That's an AWP and an M4 for a retake against 5 players. It'd be a shame if Ghost Gaming did all this damage, but was unable to even get a single frag on this round. That's essentially returning the favor to compLexity that they would have a bonus round for themselves.
This is where it gets scary, though. Will Steel be able to save this AWP now? He's got Def lurking up through those B tunnels as Stanislaw comes up through lower B as well. Steel in a great spot to stay alive, but will he be able to do it?
So what happened differently this round? Did compLexity still played this?
Well, no, I mean, Ghost Gaming played that round fine. It was just that first shot from Sick onto Freakazoid that really opened it up. Wardell at that point says, okay, I'm on ticket booth. We have A control. Let me just go ahead and take a peek towards middle. Shazam was actually trained on the ticket booth. So Shazam takes Wardell down. It's all on Neptune, and you were calling it. He's been sniffed out. He goes down without a fight. And at that point, compLexity just clear up the round.
Right, but there's no real difference there strategically wise for compLexity. They still came up like a couple rounds ago. They still went up through mid and they came up through connector. There was nothing different, but the strategy being the same. Then when you get into the nitty gritty of things, the tactics change. That's where you're talking about Sick getting the kill into the ladder room. They immediately go straight up in and seize the initiative. We've seen a lot over the past couple days. A lot of teams will get these early picks one way or the other, and then they just kind of flounder a bit. They don't make the decisions quickly enough to be able to take the window that they've
It's almost a double-edged sword, right? The thing is, when you get that opening pick and you slow it down, two things can happen, right? Either you're going to slow it down, you're going to catch a CT rotating, or the CTs are going to get into a position there that you weren't watching because you're holding, and then it ends up being a massive flank on your team. So it gets a little bit scary when you do fall into that, hold after you get the entry kill, but it is necessary as well. You need to get more info. You need to make sure things aren't, the CTs aren't stacking the site that you're going to go for. Right now, Wardell starting this round off with a great kill onto Stanislaw. No other T's in the area, so Wardell's going to stay alive here as the AXQ comes out from compLexity.
Stanislaw may have given some information that it was a heavy mid presence from Ghost Gaming, because as soon as he died, compLexity threw those smokes that they had set up for themselves. What a shot from Wardell. Don't know how he hits that, but it was in fact right between the eyes of Sick. That was the bomb planter. It was almost down to the deck. It'll be reset and put down just as the smokes fade for compLexity. That was only 2 or 3 seconds from averting disaster. I'm actually impressed that compLexity was able to evacuate the site as well as they did.
Yeah, I don't actually know how compLexity is going to hold this retake now. They have one player
Long
moving
flank.
back towards Cat, yeah, for the long flank, but look at the smoke, the Molotovs coming out, Shazam with one great shot, Steel trading him out now. It's on to Depth to make something happen, and Steel's going to get him too. What can Nothing do?
He's been hurt.
And he's been taken out.
Yeah, Kusta comes back for him. Bomb will be diffused towards the latter parts of that, but an excellent retake from Ghost Gaming. And I think it was just that shot from Wardell that stopped the bomb plant. And in all reality, that extended the round, and that extended the reach for compLexity on that. And like I said, they were lucky to get off that site because those smokes were fading. Ghost had a lot of utility themselves, and they weren't caught in transition to try and get to a defensive spot.
Yeah, and here's that wonderful shot that you were talking about right there.
Right to just the default position.
Wardell taking him out, nice little pre-aim essentially out of him. You gotta imagine he knows the lineup for that shot, so he's gonna capitalize on that opportunity. Ghost Gaming with a lovely retake now. We'll be fighting off a compLexity that's got a UMP and a CZ in tow.
Depth's not waiting for any man. Pushes up and in through this smoke. That is a disastrous position. But however, they have gotten Stanislaw up into the corner. Eye contact made. Kusta detects Stanislaw, and now Shazam's underneath. Is he looking for a frag? He's looking up and to the left, but actually, surprise, surprise, Freakazoid saves his life, and then Kusta returns the favor. So this is only Nothing left. That got really wacky there in Connector's side. I was afraid that Kusta's rifle model was actually going to prevent him from seeing the player coming up underneath him.
Well, actually, Shazam just jumped right up onto him right there.
Right.
But he was saved by Freakazoid, obviously, and then Kusta peeking out the connector to help Freakazoid, who was being shot by Lower B. That's some great teamwork right now. Steel's aggressive towards the middle here, and Nothing's going to catch him off. It's going to be one kill going the way of compLexity in this round, but yet another dominant round out of Ghost Gaming to tie this one up.
Well, like you said, I was just about to make that point. Dominant rounds. So for the past 5 rounds, and including even the second round as well, so that's 6 rounds in total that we've had dominance, quote unquote, with at least 4 players surviving to the winning team.
Yeah.
So these money swings are going to be really damped out by that because you have so much money being saved from the previous round. This time, though, compLexity Gaming, that last round was up to a force buy. It looked like there were pistols with armor. There was an AK in there mixed in. Nice little run boost to the top of mid, but it's not going to net you a frag. Just a little bit of chip damage to Freak.
Yeah, if Freakazoid wasn't there, there would have been the opportunity for a nice little frag in that area. But right now, with the terrorists rushing out into the A bomb site, Neptune's going to put a stop to that right away. 6 made his way into Sandwich, and Neptune checks it and gets a very easy frag. So Ghost Gaming now with their first lead of this game as they go up by 1 round here. compLexity will be buying back up into this, Dallas, but they won't have an op on the field.
So what can they do against the likes of Wardell? Previously, we've seen compLexity. I'm assuming Wardell's going to go to mid because every round you mentioned before, their default involves Wardell going to mid at least early. Then he could shift back towards the A site. Exactly. But how can compLexity get past Wardell, the ever-watchful eye, this early on in the round? They've already set for a default smoke that comes down on Catwalk that should be able to block the field of view, and a Molotov into Connector means that at least Wardell's op can't be directly in the line of sight, but they've alleviated this. They've spanned the bridge by putting Freakazoid into middle.
And actually, Kusa's going to be taken down through that smoke on top Cat
Sick
right
flash.
now, but Freakazoid re-aggressing will get a kill momentarily until he's taken down by Nothing. Steel does end up evening it out.
Is that a one-way
and we're
smoke
into
that
a
Steel's
3v3.
playing with? If it is, he did detect Shazam going across the side of it. Now, the thing is, Shazam, when he comes across this corner, not going to be expecting Steel directly 12 o'clock right in front of you through that doorway. And I was thinking that if he did push into the kitchen, he would either be pre-firing left or pre-firing right so that Steel would just have him broadsided. So now we're just down to Nothing. And this is going to be a costly round for Ghost Gaming, but Nothing at least has a chance here, though the bomb has been forfeit quite some time ago.
Yes, that was a massive push towards the upper B from Steel. Gives his team total control of the round while everybody's getting fragged out on other parts. Neptune now should be able to pick up this frag. Ooh, no! Nothing able to take him down. Steel does end up with the cleanup. A nice 3K on the round from him. But still, a very scary round in general coming out for Ghost Gaming.
I'm actually really surprised. I mean, we've talked about how the dominant rounds have existed, but finally Ghost Gaming are forced down to what was a 1v1, and their money was actually eclipsing $12,000 prior to this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are well off.
does look like compLexity will be taking attack pause, and not a bad idea, right? Slow down your opposing team. Freakazoid has been playing very aggressive to middle round time and time again. Right now for compLexity, they want to slow it down. They want to get him maybe off of that fast pace that he's playing, as well as address themselves and see what they can do to progress further in this first half.
I mean, right now, it does feel like there's a ticking time bomb against compLexity because Freakazoid, like you mentioned, he hasn't really woken up yet, but he is a force to be reckoned with if he does wake up. He only has 4 kills so far, and still Ghost Gaming have the lead.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you're looking at Freakazoid's playstyle early on in this, we've seen him get very aggressive towards middle number of times here, pushing off the catwalk, pushing right directly up middle. So it's kind of how Ghost Gaming have him playing on this map, and it's not too bad of an idea. Looks like compLexity will be going for a fast B right now. I do believe Steel probably spotted that, and that might be a nice nade.
Oh.
A little bit of damage.
The thing is, this molly cuts the head off the snake, if you will. Oh, and another grenade's coming in. Freak hucks it. It might only catch Shazam for the most part. It does. Now you got some soft targets coming in. Steel's got 2, thinking a 2 3/4 as Freakazoid finished the job. Stealing a couple more kills from Steel. Surprisingly, though, Steel does not survive. Round goes the way of Ghost regardless, one way or another. Still net income positively for Ghost Gaming, but no bomb plant, actually. It's been quite some time. As a matter of fact, we've only seen 1 bomb plant and defuse. It might even be only the 2nd bomb plant so far in this match.
Okay.
That was way back in round 7.
Yep. Looking at compLexity right now, Shazam will be picking up that AWP, so it'll be good to see him back with his weapon of choice, his preferred weapon, going up against Wardell. Does look like, to start the round actually, Shazam will be heading towards A ramp. It's already been smoked off. We do see the Ghost Gaming side getting very aggressive to it as well. Wardell now holding that op angle here. He's also got the reinforcements from Neptune. Neptune makes a little bit of contact. Wardell's able to grab 1, but off nothing's 2 kills. They're able to open up the A bomb site.
That has got to be frustrating for Neptune. He had them dialed in with the scope from the AUG. 2 players were out there swung on him.
Stan and Freak have actually walked right by each other. Stanislav made his way up into that connector while Freak is flanking T-Spawn. Kusta going down at that ticket booth now leaves CT spawn open here for compLexity to push if they so choose.
Well, they've got to work together right now if they want to have a shot at this. Ghosts don't necessarily have to win this round, but killing 2 players would at least set themselves up for victory. Nothing is defending back towards T-spawn through A main, and he successfully does it. Steel, though, is not caught. He gets slapped from Def on the flank, who came through the murder hole himself, so Steel was not going to have any of that fight, and Freakazoid's forced to fall back. Not going to get any of those kills, I don't think, unless he's gifted the one coming from Stanislaw out in front of him. I think Stanislaw hurt him, though. You're not going to be able to swing that far.
Steel getting caught with his knife out there. Very easy frag for Stanislaw to pick up. Now, compLexity picking up their first round out of the past 6. So
yeah, it's been some time.
Yeah, they've definitely slowed down on their momentum here. Ghost Gaming, well, they've built up quite the economy. Dallas, they'll be buying up like there was no problem. And really, compLexity on that round. Neptune not being able to frag anybody coming out Palace. Wardell has to turn towards that area there. Really leaves Wardell in a very big predicament. Even if he got 1, the A-ramp guy probably would have killed him. So it was a good effort from him to try and keep his team in the round. But it's not enough as compLexity do end up taking A, do end up picking up the round.
There's actually a really deep Molotov that came out of the window and landed at top mid. So even though the T's throw those default smokes that come down, typically they have trouble crossing to the top boxes. So that at least delays their mid presence, and as a matter of fact, pushes compLexity off of that idea. They turn away from it. Neptune, though, wants to redeem himself. He's just in front of A main right now. He still has the same weaponry as well, the AUG, and he's mere steps away from Def. Def about to round this corner. It'd be crazy for him to just wide swing Neptune right now, but it might be in the cards.
Yeah, it's looking like Def wants to go for this pick right now, just spotting towards that CT spawn. Wardell is actually opping the halls right now, so Neptune, he's on his own for the moment here against Def.
Well, Kusta is also responsible for Connector to keep the 2 players out of the A site from that direction. He's going to come up to a lot of individual play.
Kill.
Neptune holds off A main, and Kusta from behind gets 2. A flashbang came in from Freakazoid in the assist as well, and it leaves Shazam up in the Palace. That's fine and dandy. Nothing now is the only one there, though. He's going to have to crawl over top of his comrade's body. At least has the bomb, and apparently has a freebie on the first and then second kill. What a surprise. This grenade's going to at least do some damage, but not nearly enough. Steel comes back. So there was a little bit of a recourse there from compLexity. They get some kills. It's not nearly enough to do fatal damage to Ghost's economy?
Honestly, it all came down to Kusta there, picking up 2 frags towards that connector area. If Kusta doesn't end up even if he picks up 1 frag and gets traded out, that's so much room that compLexity is gained towards the A site. It was just too hard of a task for him to actually close that round off. He gets a couple nice frags, but nothing more than that. Looking at this round, however, it does seem like Stanislav's opted to go for the MAC-10 in favor of some more utility for his teammates. And it does look like Neptune will be playing on balcony, while we do see Kusta as well as Wardell playing tight towards this connector.
Yeah, that last round was just the importance of when you're the only man watching one side of entry to the site, how important it is that you hold your site. The smoke fades, and nothing sees Neptune. He's got him all day right there. Now Kusta is going to be in a little trouble because his responsibility, it just has been connector paired up with Freakazoid. Somebody now has to also pay attention up towards that palace. So as you start to lose some players from Ghost, that A site becomes more and more of a problem to hold on to. Nice pop flash in, but it was merely a bait and switch. The MAC-10 from Stanislav gets the headshot. The smoke though fades, and so Freakazoid can't maintain his presence here. Again, the A site becomes more vulnerable because of this.
And Steel picking up a very nice frag coming through the B tunnels here. That was some great aggression out of him. Going to pick up that frag towards lower. Wardell making a little bit of contact, jumping on ticket booth, and is punished by Shazam here. As Freakazoid does take down Stanislav to turn this into a 1v2 with nothing in spawn and Shazam in sight.
But Stanis got that kill with a MAC-10. That might be the deal breaker for Ghost, because this is a lot for Freakazoid to be able to come back from. The bomb's been planted near the default position, but I don't think he anticipates that nothing is back towards CT, or yes, he does. Throws the Molotov, now starts to clear out his angles with the use of this utility. This bomb being planted, there's only so many places it could be. Choose either CT or Palace when you touch that bomb. He chose the higher side of it and ended up paying dearly for it.
Yeah, you can see the emotion on him after losing that round. Wasn't too happy about that. You almost had an idea that he was thinking that he was CT, and then just kind of second-guessed himself, stopped paying attention to that area, nothing, picking up a very easy frag on him to get compLexity within 2 rounds of tying this game up. And as we move into the final round of this first half, we're going to see Ghost Gaming coming out with not too much in terms of firepower. A CZ on Steel, Neptune's got a UMP, as well as Freakazoid now. Of course, Wardell as well as Kusta, they've got some powerful weapons in their hands, but not a lot of utility across the Ghost Gaming side to back it up. Oh, you know what? Wardell gets a nice frag, quickly traded out.
Yeah, so there's a weakness right there. Oh, actually, Wardell's off falls into mid. Whether Sick knows that or not. MAC-10, it's one of those sticky situations. What do you do here?
Yeah, Neptune's looking for it. He's not actually able to pick that one up as Steel aggressed through the halls, and Stanislav, watching the A portion of the map during the default, is able to pick up a very easy frag onto him.
Oh, awkward from Sick. They just recognize that each other are there. In the smoke, it fades. Neptune wins that fight. Now taking the long-range fight. It's going to be 2v2. Freak and Kusta. Freakazoid pushing ahead and losing his life. In the past handful of rounds, it's always 1v2, it seems, as now it's Kusta's turn to try and take down Def and Stanislav. The bomb will be planted on the B site, secured by Def by overcoming that of Freakazoid. So Kusta's actually hot on their trails, though. Doesn't want to overpress his bounds. The bomb hasn't been planted, but Kusta's still running.
He's thunder stomping his way through the hall. So they hear all of this right now. They're both trained on Kusta. I don't know how he's going to be able to pick this one up, and he doesn't. Stanislav with an easy headshot onto an unsuspecting Kusta to make it 8-7, Dallas.
Yeah, little surprise there that he ended up sprinting through there with the bomb not even being planted yet. But we'll talk about that more, and we got more action coming as it's an even as it gets. Ghost Gaming at 8, compLexity at 7. We'll be right back for the second half. Welcome back to the Pro League. We are about to start the second half between Ghost Gaming and compLexity. This is map 1 of a best-of-3 series. So thanks for tuning in. And Evan, what do you think about that first half?
I thought Ghost Gaming really just fell kind of flat towards the end of the half. It was still a good half for them overall. I mean, getting 8 rounds on your CT side of Mirage, you got to be happy about that. It could have been worse. But moving over to T side, they've really got to start off strong here, get that lead, get that pistol round, and really throw a wrench into compLexity's CT side.
Right, so here's what I'm theorizing. This is what I a little bit alluded to in the first half, is this is where Freakazoid wakes up. This is where this is his field of play, this entry, just high-level, fast Counter-Strike, and we'll see what ends up happening from him. But right now, it's just passive. Ghost Gaming sitting at top mid, just kind of stacked up in a string, also having one player respectful of the flanks for either direction. So now that nothing's happened, they go for a run boost up and over the top. It was more vertical than horizontal on the run boost. Neptune sees 2 players, now turns the corner. Shazam caught one in the face. He'll be finished off quickly though, and it looks like pinned to the wall. So now they've got themselves Steel that's lurking on this. I love this strategy. Leave one in mid and let those guys on catwalk come in a little late. Steel now for 2 kills. It's a 5v2. What a beautiful pistol execute.
Def now with nothing here. Nothing's coming through these halls as Def gets gooshed. It's all on to nothing to make something happen here. Off of Ghost's great rush, compLexity find themselves with 1 man and a dream.
Pop, pop, pop. Almost gets Wardell, but it's nothing at the end of the day. 9-7. That pistol round had a little bit of flair to start off. Had a little bit of patience to start off. Then a little flair with a run boost. And then an execute where they push multiple players down mid up through connector. That smoke actually blocks them off. They don't see it.
Yeah, what I thought was going to be happening there was after the run boost, you actually saw 2 compLexity players on the catwalk here, and this is actually the lovely 2K coming out from Steel. But yeah, you saw 2 compLexity players on the catwalk while the Ghost Gaming players were rushing into connector. They get the goosh off, and the Halls player actually finishes off the top connector player, and then the Cat players end up fighting with Steel, and that's what really allows the whole strat to develop. So that was a great idea out of Ghost, and it pays off with a pistol round win.
Yeah, and I'm suspecting that they had thought that everybody had gone up through connector, because that smoke blocked their vision of connector. That covers the team, while Steel deals with them trying to pursue. So now you've got a force buy from compLexity. Double scout. Shazam was up there in mid-window, I believe. He took a little bit of damage from his first skirmish. Nothing's scout is over towards the A site. He's got blood in the water, as long as 4 players are over there for compLexity on that A site. They've got 2 of them that are underneath Palace as well. So this is going to be an interesting strategy. Actually, 1 above, 1 below. Heavy stack.
Yeah, it does look like Ghost Gaming will be running into this stack as they are collecting themselves towards that A area here. We do have the lurk from Freakazoid in middle. Not really seeing too much here. And compLexity off this force buy with a real opportunity to make something happen.
It's going to rely on some of the scouts. They need those to do damage so that the CZs can just do 1-2 punches. Make it quick. Well-timed smoke coming in. Def gets the first. It is swapped as Shazam fires through the smoke. That manages to catch him right in the cheek. And it's a man advantage for compLexity. And right now, Ghost Gaming, they might think about reeling back, but they got players that are so close and so committed to the take on the site that Steel was all the way up to the triple box. Freakazoid is in jungle right now as Kusta is over, I believe, in Sandwich. So this is just a tough spot to get out of. You're virtually committed. Shazam from the front. Freakazoid's trying to deal with players front, left, and center. Kusta covers for 1. They're starting to pull this back. Kusta's now in a 1v2 just as he was around before, but there's no way he could do it. 6-player ring around the Rosie, and he's dominated it at the kindergarten games.
Well, looking at that round now, compLexity with a great call towards that stack at A. Ghost Gaming not really clearing too much out early on. They just go right into the execute there. And that's where compLexity comes alive. All those armored players within the A bomb site plus Shazam's scout. It was really just too hard for Ghost Gaming to get anything going there. And by the time they even got into a possibility where they could pull away with the round win, well, the clock had been run down as well, Dallas, and there just wasn't enough time for Ghost to get the round.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. If you're a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, the crowd is your 12th man. And then if you're a Counter-Strike player, sometimes the clock becomes your 6th man.
Ghost Gaming not wavering from the buy though. They are going to full buy up, and Wardell's actually going to take down nothing towards that catwalk as Steel has moved up towards Connector here as Shazam does take him down and save his team a lot of headaches.
Yeah, with Steel going down there, Connector, there was no trade opportunity. Everybody else was kind of caught up in mid, whether that was by Shazam or by anybody that was an apparition towards catwalk side. Ghost was very nervous about how that was being approached. It is a 2-on-3 after Wardell returns the frag against Shazam. And they're going to need a little bit of a miracle, else compLexity will be able to tie up this game and then be able to take a couple rounds after it, I would suspect. Ghost Gaming's money is well below $1,000 each on this force buy.
Def now peeking out towards middle. Does fire off a couple shots with the MP9 before picking up Shazam's M4 here. Stanislav playing right under the window as Freakazoid moves his way out. Should be able to pick up an easy frag onto him. And there it is now, all onto Wardell in a 1-on-3 here. He does have bomb in tow, Dallas. So there is a possibility he could get a plant out, but with Sick running up towards middle. Oh, actually, Wardell with the tag. An opportunity.
Now he's only getting glimpses of Sick, but now he's committed. Oh, nice flash too. It almost saves his life. It does damage to Def as well. Def is hanging and floating around 50 HP, but with 15 seconds, again, you're going to need an extra man on the front for compLexity Gaming. Wardell's hand is going to be forced. He rounds this corner. He fails to jump through the window. Maybe that cost him, but getting even to that site would have been difficult. He had to fight Def first.
I legit think that he could have picked up that frag and made his way into the site. Unfortunately, he hits the top of Connector, just bangs his head off. And that's going to put him into a movement speed of just straight 0.
Stormtrooper, the threshold.
I was going to mention that. You remember the Star Wars blooper?
Yeah, that's because you and I have been casting for a while. We're on the same wavelength.
God damn. That's good people right there. So 9-9 is our scoreline here as Ghost Gaming onto an eco. And it does look like they're going to favor the B bomb site. A very slow start to the round nonetheless here as we have Freakazoid as well as Wardell just patiently waiting for a mid push. The other members of the team here just clearing out lower B. Just a static round out of Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, I don't expect much flair from this. Ghost would be lucky to get a bomb plant here. Very default setup for compLexity, 2-1-2, with the 1 being Shazam. He's up in the window, actually, with an MP9. He's responsible for anything from underpass, connector, top mid. Even though it'd be difficult to reach to top mid, those are unarmored targets. So as soon as you tap them once, their aim is all over the place. So you're relatively safe just based on your fire rate and the fact your opponent have no armor. And here they come. These are close, though. These are much more manageable for him, but a quick double dink, maybe even a bit more from some support on top mid, gives Kusta the kill. And there's a gun that they may want to recover. MP9 would be way better than some of those Glocks and P250s that they've got. And at least they've wrenched their way in. They could pry open something off of mid.
Not really much going on for Ghost Gaming now. They've boosted one into window, but we already have Stanislav playing outside patiently, waiting for it to happen here. Does look like Ghost Gaming will be moving towards that connector now as we pass the 25-second mark. There should be a mow down here as Def picks up 1. Stanislav with his own Sick chiming in. Does look like all of the compLexity players want to get some of these eco frags.
Yeah, that molly towards the end of that round, I believe that may have been from Stanislav, actually secured the round. It lands right at the top of connector. compLexity recognized that there were about 3 players that were coming up that direction. Ghost lost their first trying to climb the stairs, and then the molly just ended it. So compLexity have indeed earned the right to be the leaders of this game so far, but we are into the top of the 20th round, and Ghost are coming back. Even though it's not going to be the best buy round, they do have an op included. It's just that the low side of that's going to be Steel with the Galil. You feel?
Steel with the Galil, you feel? Nice. Are you a rapper too?
No, not as good as nothing.
All right, Ghost Gaming now into this round here, just running a pretty slow default. We do see 2 members towards the end of Palace, Wardell, as well as Neptune here, lurking out these halls. Neptune's going to keep on going here. This is great out of him. Let's see what he's able to pick up.
Oh, what a surprise. Sick
Nice
did not
shot.
expect a T to come from the other side of that hole. Wardell with 2 quick frags, and suddenly this round is almost out of control, but Stanislav's kill right there keeps at least them within reach. It's now 1v3, and now it's almost back out of reach. It was just yo-yoed out of control. Stanislav is at catwalk looking towards that A site. However, underneath him is Freakazoid, and what a way to catch the lurk or the rotation, but Freak is actually looking back towards B tunnels. So he's got Stanislaw just above him. It's just an awkward spot.
Nothing really going to happen here. Stanislaw definitely won't be moving forward here.
The thing is, Wardell's not going to suspect this with Freakazoid being down there. Not going to suspect Stanislaw on top of the scaffolding.
He's looking towards this area, not able to pick up the frag. Stanislaw picking up a very easy frag onto Wardell, as you said, unsuspecting of him being there. Freakazoid not being able to trade now, so Stanislaw will save that weapon. Is he going to pick up the AWP as well? No, Freakazoid stops him.
The greed is what undid him. So it is 10-all, and we've got, it's not a good economy for compLexity. They won 3 rounds in a row, but of those 3 rounds, the healthiest they had was 3 players alive.
Yeah, and it kind of built up that way as well,
Yeah,
right?
it
So you
went
had
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
yeah.
exactly. So when you look at that, every single round they were dropping. It wasn't like 3, 2, 1, and somebody was kind of in the proper position with economy. It was they started with none, they got a little bit, but still none, and then finally they were able to build up. But by then, nobody had built up any economy. So Ghost Gaming picking up that round will put them onto what looks like a force buy here, Dallas. So this is a great little idea out of compLexity, trying to get back into this round as soon as it starts, or as soon as they can.
You think a force buy here? Man, it just seems so risky. Maybe they've got something in play that is going to surprise Ghost Gaming. Maybe they have something designed for a force buy round.
If you're looking at Ghost Gaming here, I mean, their money's not set up well either.
Right.
So for compLexity here to go into that force buy, it's not a bad idea. They realize that, hey, if we can pick this up, Ghost Gaming's money's shot. We're back in control of the economy somewhat, I should say. But still, a good decision out of compLexity. Let's see if this one pays off for them.
This is going to be scary. A bad situation just got worse. Stanislaw's alone on this B site, and he was the only single defender here. So the fact that now rotations need to come in means that this force buy can't get anything done on the front end. Shazam's wounded out there as well, so recovering this round seems to be a bridge too far. Yeah, they'll save.
Yeah,
Smart move.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, no need to force the issue. They're still going to get money if they lose the round. That's one of the benefits of being on CT side. If you don't actually go for the objective, you still get the money. Whereas on T side, if you let the time run out, well, you're not going to get any money going forward. So this is a good idea out of compLexity right now, saving their weapons here, bringing them into next round. Ghost Gaming with a fast B rush, essentially putting an end to that round as soon as they get that first kill. Great job out of them. Great aggression out of Steel as well. The second he gets out into the site, picks up the frag, he's going to go to market. He's going to drop a Molotov towards the market entrance, stopping any rotators from even peering off into that site. And then as that molly's burning out, he drops the smoke and plays in front of it, not allowing any of the compLexity players really the opportunity to even push out and get aggressive.
Right. So still compLexity are in an awkward spot. They're virtually in the same boat as they were in the last round. However, now you've got a little bit more cash. You could build up the coffers a little bit in your utility belt. You could buy a couple smokes more. And I would say you need those incendiaries, because if Ghost Gaming go for another rush just like that, whatever force buy you have is still just being strung along. It's just being baited. So compLexity, do not invest in any further utility at all. It is just straightforward. Keep that off. Keep the pistols that you had in the previous round, and again, hope for the best. Still is only Stanislaw in the B site, and Shazam, who had pushed mid early with that op, wow, has just handed it over. Well, it does end up back in Nothing's hands. Ghost Gaming are a little bit nervous about this.
What a big play from Nothing there. I mean, nobody saw any frags show up, but what you guys got to realize is that Nothing flashes off mid solo, takes the risk there to recover the op, and because of that, he actually ends up in a stronger position. Now Steel taking down the B player once again in Stanislaw, opening up that portion of the map here, and also doing a lot of damage onto Sick, but Sick picks it up, so he's going to keep B in compLexity's hands for the time being.
Steel aim punched him so hard that some of those bullets went up in the orbit. Kusta gets the return kill against Sick, finishes the job what he started, and Nothing is going to think about saving that op. Other side of the world, Def has Deagle armor, so 2v4 is not good enough for them to take an honest retake of this site, and the op is going to be a welcome site in the next round because it's going to end up being quite a bit of cash. 3 rounds of loss bonus headed their way.
Yeah, Ghost Gaming, I mean, right, once again here, we start the round off with a nice kill from Wardell. Nothing ends up recovering that op like I just mentioned, but moving into that B site there, Steel opening it up solo again, lurking out, catching off Stanislaw in B here, changes the round completely. If Steel gets taken down there, Ghost Gaming have no control whatsoever of any parts of the map because They actually fell off the middle area after nothing recovered that op, so that could have been very scary. A big kill from Steel in that moment there to actually make Ghost Gaming cement the round in their favor.
Yep, okay. So Ghost Gaming have recovered the lead. It's gone back and forth a bit, especially at the beginning of this half, but Ghost Gaming have recovered it after bombs detonating for 3 rounds in a row, so they're earning a bit of cash in there as well. Kusta's top fragging. It's 21 and 11 as we take a look into Nothing's eyes. See how they can start to right this ship.
The gears are turning. One of the more prominent legends in the CS:GO, also 1.6 circuit. It's good to see him in a jersey. It's always nice to see Nothing in a jersey.
But like Trace and Moses were saying earlier, is like he's essentially a professional stand-in, bouncing around right now.
All right now Ghost Gaming looking towards middle here, I do imagine, as it does look like they're lining up smokes in T-spawn here. At least to smoke off top mid and start pushing up that control. But Sick has made his way behind this mid box here. But the Molotov coming out from Freakazoid, this is great out of him. Some great flashbangs as well.
Nobody's looking. Oh, that was because there was a flash.
Exactly. They actually, Sick actually got a nice flash from his teammates there to actually get him a 2K while that Molotov was burning. At the same time, Stanislaw gets one of his own. But just like that, Neptune as well as Wardell are able to turn this into a 3v2. For a split second, Dallas, it was a 4-on-2.
Yeah, that was crisis averted for Ghost. It's still recoverable right now, but pushing through the apartments is nothing. Wardell catches him.
Another one.
Yes. Wardell continues to march, and as a matter of fact,
keep on
he's
going.
more than a march. He's running into this B site with a flash in. Stanislaw is able to avert his gaze, and now the bomb needs to be recovered. Neptune is looking at it. Shazam may have not detected it yet. He's still at top mid looking back towards window. Now looking back, gets the shot, and on the other side of the world as well, Wardell fell to Stanislaw. So there it is. compLexity Gaming pick up a very critical round, and they actually pick up a double op at the end of that too. So they could put good use to this.
Okay, and right now Ghost Gaming will be buying up into this round. Here's that great pop flash that comes out, allows Sick to push off the other end of that Molotov. And he actually gets flashed and walks back into it.
Well, he actually sat in the Molotov for just a little bit to really get that flash to make it useful.
Not only that, is not peeking out right away when that Molotov lands. You give your opponents the sense that, oh, okay, maybe somebody's actually not behind there. And then when that flash comes out and he pops out, that's the last thing Ghost Gaming was going to expect, and it's going to net Sick a beautiful 2K in the round.
So Stanislaw is holding the thinnest of angles, a couple pixels wide with his op, looking for those pixels to change color. And that'll be the trigger to be pulled. Lots of players are back there, the closest one being Steel. Everybody else is starting to fall back out of the T side of the apartments and go towards A. However, there's also aggression on that side of the world as well. Stanislaw's just a couple more steps. There it is. Def on the other side of the world gets the kill against Neptune. That was aggression for the CT side through the palace. So it seems to be almost nationwide. Everybody push aggressive a little bit, see what comes out of it, if it bears any fruit, and it does. They got themselves their opener frag. Now Steel's coming back around after avoiding that op shot. He'll get the kill against Nothing in the window. So now mid control is going to be a problem for compLexity because both Shazam and Sick have fallen back and they're going through ticket booth side.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned right now, this is a great call out of the compLexity team, moving 3 members of their team over towards that A site right now as Ghost Gaming coming out the A ramp have got their work cut out for him. Def on balcony right now should be able to peek up the Freak, and he does exactly that.
There it is. Now it's a man advantage for compLexity. Kusta drops into Sandwich. He knows Def's around here somewhere, but he still holds the high ground up there on top of the ladder. The next kill is Shazam, who rifles through there in A main and leaves Steel all alone. Even to recover this bomb, there's going to be multiple eyes staring him down, and with 8 seconds left, he does call it quits, and he'll be able to keep the op in this.
Yeah, this is a great idea out of Steel, not forcing the issue, recovering the op, saving it, realizing that, hey, going into next round, nobody's got any money, so let me just bounce this into Wardell's hands here. We might see a 4-spy come up onto the Ghost Gaming side because of it.
I mean, really,
and there you go.
Ghost are in the same spot that compLexity were in just a couple rounds ago, it feels like. Remember, compLexity went for that little bit of a 4-spy, and they ended up taking a round out of it. And now Ghost Gaming have to think about doing the exact same things themselves, because in both cases, there was an op that was being saved.
Yep. All Alright, it does look like Ghost Gaming will be favoring the B tunnels here to begin this round. Only 2 members towards middle. We got 3 guys stacked up in those B tunnels. As we do see Steel moving towards the front of it, as Kusta and Neptune move towards lower. Steel might actually get picked off here. Stanislaus getting quite aggressive.
Steel, I believe, actually caught some of that off, but it was only for 10 damage. Passed through a lot of the wall first. Now he's going to use this smoke to his advantage, get advanced as he can. Nothing did fire off a shot at him, so he knows that he's vulnerable to Catwalk's side. Kusta gets the kill against 6. And now the push in from Steel. Mac 10 over top of the rifle from nothing is far better, it seems. So a 2-man advantage earned by Ghost as they still have mid control. They can take this at their own leisurely pace.
Steel has done a great job throughout this half
flick
on the B bomb side as Shazam does take down Kusta to get it closer to an even man advantage. Freakazoid says no, takes down Stanislaus here. We're into a 4-on-2 as Steel has moved out into the B bomb site now, and he's going to be calling the bomb over as well as his teammates to close this round up.
Oh no, Shazam's about to walk. He's still staring up towards the apartments. The barrel's been
There you
spotted
go.
as well. Steel being as sly as he was, it's curious that Shazam didn't think that site wasn't clean, because remember the Mac 10 from Steel got that kill, and then the site was abandoned, empty for some time.
It was just the angle that Steel was holding there. Not only did Shazam was holding the upper tunnels angle, Steel saw just enough. He had the crack just enough that he could just peer on in, like you said, see the barrel of his gun, and then he took it the rest of the way. Now, looking for Steel, not able to do so, as Steel does take him down here. Ghost Gaming will find themselves with a 1-round lead, as compLexity find themselves struggling to put any dollars together.
I mean, it's been back and forth. I don't doubt it that compLexity, if they bow out this round and Ghost extend to a 2-round lead, compLexity put 2 rounds back themselves. I mean, that's what it's been for the past quite some time, as a matter of fact. It started off with 3 rounds for compLexity, responded by 3 of Ghost, then you got 2 of compLexity, and now it's Ghost Gaming likely to get 2 as well. So they've just been mirroring one another.
Alright, it does look like compLexity going for a very fast mid here. Flashbangs have been used to get them up into that middle area. Wardell with that AWP, Freakazoid to protect him. What can they do here?
I mean, Freakazoid's doing the legwork, but he's down. Wardell's missed a handful of shots, and now Wardell could be in trouble. They're ahead of his Molotov. He takes cover. Another rifle has taken the onus to defend. The honor of the Opper, even though he missed a handful of shots. And possibly Ghost Gaming can actually get out of this, because it looked like with those missed shots that compLexity were going to be able to overwhelm the rifler. Sure, they lose 1 or 2 to the rifle, but they could definitely get past Wardell at that point.
Yeah, I feel like Steel actually heard Stanislaus in the situation. Oh, he was going to go for the knife.
No, I think he was just going to surprise him one way or another. Stanislaus turns at him, they wave at one another, and then he puts him under.
All right, Kusan to 23 frags here. This was someone that Jason was talking very highly of prior to the match starting, and he's definitely showing up right now, leading his team in overall frags. Wardell on 21, as well as Steel on 22 himself. All of Ghost Gaming is having a tremendous game right now. On the other half of compLexity, well, we're going to see Shazam doing work, sitting at 22 frags for his side.
Exactly right, doing work. So compLexity, this is where I said this is where they'll get a round. But if they do lose this round, their last one, which would be backs against the wall because Ghost would have had 15, means that it's going to be much worse. So it's compLexity's last real chance to prevent Ghost Gaming from taking map 1. So far, so good. Shazam gets the first frag. Steel's doing the same thing he's always done. He's just been putting the same smoke down to the B platform, crawling around it. He's got pretty good lines of sight. And each time he looks at one of those lines of sight, he's covered from the next. So Steel has now fallen into Van. Stanislaus has audibly detected this one. But does it cause any rotations? Does it shift compLexity around? Right now, Stanislaus thinks he can get it done himself, and he can.
There you go. Steel not really anticipating that. Too many angles to watch, especially by yourself there. Stanislaus is going to pick up an easy frag as nothing spots the player in connector here, and then takes damage there from the middle player by Chair, who's Freakazoid. Ghost Gaming find themselves in a 5-on-3 right now as the bomb is moving towards upper B, but really nobody else to back them up.
Yeah, this looks awkward from Ghost right now. They need to collect themselves, though. Then again, somebody needs to win a 1v1 somewhere. And I feel like almost this bomb was baited in the sense that Steel was able to get into at least behind Van safely and sit there for quite some time without seeing anything. And I think that's actually what put the bomb to the position it is now, and that might just have the influence on the remainder of the round.
Yeah, and just well, I mean, I'll let this round play off before I address it. It does look like we've seen compLexity take full A apartments control, so that's going to prompt a little bit of a rotate over or commit towards that B area.
8 seconds.
8 seconds to go. They're coming into sight here. Oh my gosh, there's an opportunity to get this round.
Is the bomb
out of
being
nowhere.
planted? It is. Just
and they
barely.
got it. What is happening here?
It's a man advantage. What an entry from Ghost Gaming at the last second. Even when compLexity have all the information in the world that it looks like it's going to be a B hit, it's suddenly only Def and Shazam, and it is a long run for Def. He's actually top mid running back, but now that he breaks his stride into a walk, it's a save. What an execute. And I mean, we're talking fractions of a second and just not winning that round because of the
I wouldn't even
clock.
call it an execute so much as a Hail Mary.
It was a Hail Mary.
It was a Hail Mary into the site there that ended up paying off for Ghost Gaming. They're going to get 15 rounds. But just before we move on to the next round, because we do see this round ending momentarily, I'd like to address the smoke that Steel's throwing towards B plat. Usually the smoke that you see going on towards the entrance of the B plat blocks off the entire entrance. In this situation, Steel's smoke lands on the top left corner of that platform, actually gives them a one-way to peek out into the site, fight anybody fighting default or just behind that in that boost box, but also lets him commit to the actual van fight as well. That's why we saw him creep out, clear those positions, and then decide, okay, it's actually safe for me to drop out here in this spot. Of course, like you mentioned, he gets the audio cue, Stanislaw does. He's able to pick up the frag, but I really like that B plat smoke that Ghost Gaming have been throwing these past few rounds.
They've been really throwing it just about every round. Steel's been hucking it out there, and it works. I love the fact that you can really split your attention, because if you're still in the apartments and you got the smoke on the platform on your right, you can look to catwalk safely. If you get close to that smoke and you get close to it and then tuck in, you can actually look at sight safely.
Exactly.
If you back against the wall and look to the right, you can see van safely.
Exactly.
You're covered from every angle. That is such a sick smoke. But, I mean, the entries on there were crazy. Both Freakazoid and Wardell fly out of the platform, both as soon as their feet touch the ground, pick up a kill to the left and right, and that round is suddenly there because they needed to do that just to get the bomb planted in the last millisecond.
All right, and just looking at compLexity's utility here, we do see 2 smokes on both Nothing and Sick here. Is actually that AWP, I do believe, towards that B tunnels here. It's going to keep them at bay for a little bit. Or sorry, it was Steel towards that B tunnels. He might as well be an op the way he's been playing.
I mean, Shazam's actually hyper aggressive. He was just jumping, bouncing forward through these apartments, looking for the next kill. He was just aiming a bit too tall. Kusta's not quite up there, and it is a 1-for-1 trade. A big loss, too, for compLexity, considering that was the biggest piece of firepower they have on the round. Again, like I mentioned, if they had lost that round, their buy in this one wouldn't be as good. It's substantiated by an MP9, 2 FAMAS now, and a single AUG. And I believe Kusta's just now been spotted.
Just missing that shot there. As Freakazoid's made his way towards the top of connector here. This is a great lurk position for him to be on. Neptune now making his way towards the end of the palace as the bomb regroups towards A as well here. We are going to see the lurk out from Kusta before the attack actually comes.
I'm a little worried about this. Yeah, because if Kusta dies,
a nasty flash and died.
Kusta dies right there, there's going to be an AWP that can be used by compLexity. They would love to have that.
Look at Def.
They abandon it, though. Now Def in A main has a field day on Ghost Gaming, who are trying to at least get out of the default plant. Wardell now is going to be pretty hemmed in right now. He's just able to get the scope up, but he misses high and right. It's now all up to Freakazoid, almost able to handle Sick, but Sick gets it done himself, and compLexity will win that and stay alive.
Yep.
15-13 now. This is going to get close.
Yeah, if Wardell actually ended up picking up that spawn player, Freakazoid was in a great position there to watch his sight cross, pick up anybody that's coming towards jungle. That was great control that Ghost Gaming had. Fortunately, Def at the ramp creates such a problem for Ghost Gaming that they're just unable to get that bomb down confidently without having to worry about 2 angles, and that's where the spawn player ends up taking down Wardell.
Those are 2 rounds back-to-back that are both surprise rounds to me. I really felt like they were going one way, and then all of a sudden they turn right on around. So now Ghosts are still looking to get things done. They invest pretty heavily into this one, and the next round might be a bit problematic, but of course it would be the absolute last round in regulation. So they'll buy up everything they absolutely can. Bomb right now is being parked up towards the apartments. They're setting up for some smokes down here. Actually, those smokes are going to be landing up towards mid and connector, I believe.
Yeah, that's actually to allow the split to happen here. So we're going to see Kusta going up that catwalk as well as Steel here with 3 members towards those B tunnels. We should see this site hit starting to develop momentarily.
Sick's been spotted. He's going to throw a Molotov, and Nothing's in a fantastic position to clean up. actually gets the kill, refragged against Kusta. Stanislaw survives at 1 HP. Stanislaw just needs to stay alive, but he's been flanked by Freakazoid coming around wide towards bench, and now you've got a 3v3. Steel, though, is going to start to muddy everything up on the re-entries from them, the rotations as well. It's 2v2 again. We've seen, especially in the first half, Ghost Gaming very much struggled in the 2v2 scene. As a matter of fact, I don't think they won a single one of them, but now it's even easier.
Death taking down Wardell. He knows where the final member is. Freakazoid just got a kill from that position, and Death is also going to pick up Freakazoid now. That was a great little round out of complexity there. It was a great strat out of Ghost Gaming as well. Unfortunately, that cat hold was a tremendous effort from Def, who ends up with the round, with a 3K on the round, to bring complexity within 1 of taking this to OT.
Yeah, nice 2v1 clutch right there for Def. 3 kills on the round total. He keeps the team alive. Last round, 30th is on board. Ghost either secure the W or complexity send it to OT. Actually, we haven't even had an OT game yet this
We have not had an OT
week.
game.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Don't mind that. Kusta now sitting on 25 frags, really putting in the effort for his squad here. Wardell and Steel doing the same. Freakazoid just hitting that 20 kill mark himself. All of Ghost Gaming as we near the end of regulation, really putting in work here.
Yeah, both teams appreciate this timeout. This is
collect yourselves.
This is the round.
Everybody
right
can
now.
collect themselves, get their heads into it. What could be the last round of regulation for Ghost Gaming, or what could be the start of overtime for complexity.
Yeah, it could be. So right now, Ghost, they're lucky that they've gotten 2 bomb plants in a row, and those have been defused, obviously so, but at least it nets them a little bit of extra cash. I think Neptune was the sacrifice here, buying rifles. I believe he must have bought a Galil and handed it to Steel. So now it is up to, hopefully, Wardell with that op, that he can pop off that first frag. He's in A main right now, but instead it's the opposing op from Shazam, ending lives left and right. Neptune's pushing ahead. He's got a CZ, so it's surprised that he's actually the one to get the frag, but he stands alone,
There you go,
and he will be
overtime.
put down. We do have OT.
What an effort from complexity to bring that one back. But you pretty much called that. You said it's been back and forth throughout the second half here. So going to OT is something that, you know, you saw in the cards. And that's exactly what happens here as complexity crawl their way back, bring this one back into OT now. And it's going to be interesting to see now if Ghost Gaming can still maintain that momentum or have complexity strip that all away from them, and now are complexity the confident ones going into this.
Right, and with headsets coming off, I'm going to assume that we're going to cut to a little bit of a break and get everybody a breather, because this has been a neck-and-neck fight. In that half, I don't think either team managed to pull off any more than 3 rounds in a row. So take this time, ladies and gents, to go get yourself some refreshments. Oh, so we're not cutting the break. We've actually got ourselves a solid we get to talk about this. So any change in OT for us between strats?
I think we'll definitely see a lot more of a faster play out of the Ghost Gaming side. They've got the economy now behind them. They've got the utility as well. So they can do a lot there with that in tow. Same thing from complexity. I'd like to see them get really aggressive, really heavy on certain parts of the map. I love the aggression towards B tunnels from Shazam. Unfortunately, that one round Kusta does take him down, but I'd like to see them reciprocate that going into this overtime half.
Yeah, and really, I mean, the utility has suffered a lot. Sure, both teams do prefer to have their ops, but with only getting 3 rounds in a row and then you lose that one, suddenly, if you want to keep an op into the field, you don't have all the utility you want to play with. So really, now that we go into overtime, there's going to be a complete influx in cash. Everybody will be able to do what they want, as if we don't have this back and forth muddy gameplay. This is where we get actually cleaner Counter-Strike.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Auto snipers in overtime. BM or much needed?
Not even BM. I just don't think they even have a role unless you're on train, for example. I mean, yeah, I don't see auto sniper fitting well.
Okay. I personally disagree with that, but I do believe we have some highlights from the previous game now, or sorry, the previous half right here. As Sick does get a 2K. That's the beautiful one that I was talking about with the pop flash. Yep, exactly that. And then here's that last second B hit that just blew our minds.
Yeah.
As they get the bomb down in time, and
Wardell flew into that site. I mean, he was scoping in while he was in midair, and as soon as his boots touched the ground, he picks up the frag. That was a game saver. I mean, really, at this point, when you're this late in the half, every one of these highlights is a game saver.
Well, I mean, looking at that though, honestly, those highlights were nice. Those highlights were nice. I think that Ghost Gaming definitely will be getting a couple more highlights going into this half. Complexity, I think they're playing a little bit more of a team game. They're looking at it more more of a everybody's getting involved on different parts. That's why we really only see Shazam pulling ahead with those 26 frags. But overall right now, I can look to complexity in this overtime and imagine the flashbangs coming out for them just in the way we saw with Sick towards middle. They have plenty of utility to do so. Some great one-way smokes maybe even coming in.
So now, yes, what you're talking about is a little bit of extra. That's what you need when you come into overtime. Both teams have seen each other's strategies. They've seen the defaults, and of course we're not going to do any more pistols. We saw how creative it was for Ghost, but that's what I want to get to is the analysis at the beginning of the game between Moses and Trace talked about this, where it was you have James IRL and then you have Steel. So you have this refinement of information where all this game knowledge that you have, this expertise just gets refined into the more dense and more valuable at that point. And we had seen this before. I mean, when we go way back, and it was, I want to think of the Torqued versus GX game that we had in ESEA, like season 26 or something, way back when. That game went into like triple overtime, and Steel led that team into some really creative strategies that were completely off the wall. It's like almost this off-the-cuff thought process that you don't anticipate. Do you think that could be enough for Ghost?
I think Ghost is going to need a little bit more than that.
A little more than creativity?
Yeah, I think they're going to need a little bit more firepower coming out because complexity has definitely been hanging out with them towards the end of that half. I think the half started off really well for Ghost. They were hitting all their shots. They were making it happen, including that 7-second round that they just pulled out of thin air, right? The Hail Mary round, as I'd like to say. But, I mean, going into this right now, I'd like to see complexity I'd like to see them pick up the pace a little bit, to be honest here, Dallas.
Okay, some pace change, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take strategies that haven't been seen yet. Because as soon as you show your hand a little bit, let's say, for example, Steel comes up towards the B site and keeps dropping that smoke on the platform, that's when Complexity are going to know something's up. They've seen this 3 or 4 times before. Of course, the teams stay on each side as they ended, and this is something new. Stanislav fast into top mid, but Wardell defends himself. Sick is right behind him, but he's eating the flashbang. He can't escape. Freakazoid secures that frag, and Ghost Gaming go up on the first round, 5-3. But between both of these teams, we've seen them come back from deficits like this before, but maybe not the 2v5 now that Shazam dies.
Those 3 big frags out of Ghost right now, and they're just going to slow it down. This is something you spoke about earlier. Teams just going to that lull right now after picking up some big frags. They're going to do exactly that. They're going to wait for any aggression coming out from the CT side here before they actually commit to anything. This is exactly where you want to be. Looking at complexity right now, you still have Def looking in towards that middle, as well as Nothing now, who's aggressed kind of towards those B tunnels here, as Steel looks to just prod on in, get some information here, maybe even pick up a frag.
You're talking about everybody kind of ducking in and slowing things down from Ghost. You had 3 players that were at top mid, nobody was peeking any angles.
Exactly.
And Def he looked out through windows, saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. Complexity did get a kill against Steel, so that leaves it even to a 2-to-1 disadvantage for each man. So this is Def hearing the bomb being planted, a window of opportunity for himself, but he cannot create. There was enough cover fire there to make sure that bomb does get planted. And this is what I like about MR316K, is you have all the money in the world. There's no sense in saving guns. You know, go for retakes.
Yeah, go for it. Maybe some magic happens, right? Especially when you're Nothing, right? Even if you're in that 1v4, Nothing's made that magic happen plenty of times. So he's going to go for it. Unfortunately, gets shut down before it even begins. But Ghost Gaming pull ahead by 1 round to start this overtime off.
Okay. There's the start they need. And it was Complexity that were the ones that changed their strategy. Ghost really didn't do anything different. Now Wardell, though, fast. Shazam he actually hit that shot on cross. 2 of his teammates were crossing towards the top of bench, and Shazam saving some lives, as a matter of fact. So Ghost tried to replicate what Complexity did in that previous round. I'm sure Wardell had the spawn for it, but it was a risk.
Just looking at it right now, we are going to see Freakazoid and Co. towards the escape ramp right now. Kusta with a very nice frag towards that middle area here, Dallas.
I mean, that surprised me. As soon as that smoke cleared, I think Kusta was surprised that he had a CT that was standing there not shooting at him. Man strength, rather, evened out. 4v4 right now. Def on the flank from the top of the stairs gets another trade, but Ghost Gaming are wounded. They're licking their wounds, but they can't fall back yet. They have to keep the pressure up and going.
Ooh.
Neptune's down, and I don't think, Freakazoid's going to last much longer there, being at such a tagged HP. Kusta's in a 1v2. We've seen him in this position before.
Can he get the bomb?
Time. He's got plenty of time.
I wonder if he can get the bomb in this position right now. He does get shot at here.
Oh! He turns. He knows.
Can he make this happen?
Stanislav's gone to triple box, but Kusta might think he's still back. Yeah, he thinks he's back towards ticket booth still.
That's great out of Stanislaw. He fires off a couple shots, gives away his position, realizes that he needs to reposition. So off of Kusta getting that frag, Stanislaw makes his way into the triple box, able to just outsmart Kusta in that situation, pick up an easy frag on him to tie this one up.
Easy peasy. Yeah, here's Stanislaw. That was just a deception is what it was. As soon as he fired, he fell and actually advanced forward, which just caught him off guard entirely. So now it is even strength. 16 all, and some utility being thrown over towards the B site. This might just be a flashbang that would commit a response from compLexity to use some smokes themselves.
Does look like Steel once again getting pretty aggressive towards these B tunnels. He's got his teammates going towards lower as well here as Stanislaw pushes in through the Molotov. Yeah. Steel not able to pick up that frag, and that's going to be the man advantage going the way of Cole.
Yeah, Stanislaw, he's wearing that red tunic, man.
Right now, Kusta as well as Neptune here. Well, they're actually going to pull off the middle area and go back towards B tunnels. Does look like Wardell with the bomb in tow will be heading that way as well, so I imagine they're going to leave Freakazoid. No, he too shall fall off middle.
Man, B is such a tough site to get into.
It's just like Beyond Dust 2. Very hard to get into, but once you're in there, it's almost impossible for the CTs to retake, especially if you have the man advantage in that position.
Right, yeah, so compLexity should be able to peel off 1 or 2 on the entries and just make things even easier for the retake. So you've got Sick on Cat, pushing up. He's actually under the window now. Stannis is wounded. He's just on top of the boxes next to the van. He's the one that pops off first. Neptune gets the next one, and here's the quick, clean entries from Ghost. 2v3 still. Wardell's looking for an elusive player on Catwalk. Bomb's been thrown down towards the default, so Wardell can still remain high. There's going to be a long flank coming. Eventually, Def will have apartments control, and there will be nowhere to hide for Ghost.
Will Wardell check his back, though? He's already out of the B tunnels right now, so he just needs to get into a great position here, maybe by bench. Not really finding much as they're waiting for this B site player, or B halls player actually, to push up a little bit more. Wardell spots it out. Nothing's just having some great movement right now. Can Wardell pick up this halls player? Not yet.
He's running. He's trying to get out of that position because it's been sold, and then Def and Shazam both pair up with those kills. That was good movement from Wardell. He missed the shot on the player. It was only a couple pixels wide to be able to hit that headshot above the platform, excuse me. However, as soon as he missed, he recognized his weakness and tried to fight his way out, because if he remains stationary, he's 100% dead. I even think there was a Molotov headed his direction, but he was ahead of that curve. But compLexity take that first overtime lead, in that half at least, 2-1.
All right, and as we move into the second half of OT, Ghost Gaming find themselves down 1 round. Remember, guys, in OT, you're going to need to win by 4 to make it happen there. So 3 rounds per half, you need 4 to win. Ghost Gaming, they've got to pick up these next 3, essentially.
Okay, so right out of the gates, of course, MR316K, but it's been quite some time since we've seen either team on these sides.
With the way the rounds have been back and forth so much, I could actually see this going to double OT. I could see Ghost picking up their 2 and then finally falling to compLexity in 1, and then we'll go to another double OT here. So let's see if Ghost can close this one out, or maybe compLexity closing this one out as well here. They only need 2 to make this happen.
Yeah, we got to remember that it was Ghost Gaming that got that 15th round first, and then compLexity just kept up the pace, kept the pressure up, and were able to force it into OT, and now they've recovered the lead. It has changed back and forth for a handful of times. And right now, it's a pretty critical round for Ghost Gaming to be able to win, because they don't want to have to try and play this one backs against the wall. Excellent shot. Stanislaw catches Kusta just as he drops the grenade in mid or connector now.
Actually, Neptune taking quite a bit of damage as that Molotov pushes him off here. compLexity have taken almost all of this A site.
It was Stannis.
Stanislaw's made his way into window. The players are coming out through the ramp right now. Def is watching the lower B flank as well here, which Steel has aggressed.
Yes. So what this is designed to catch rotators coming across. Def was watching the underpass, while Steel actually had a decision, go underpass or go all the way back around to T-spawn. compLexity postured themselves right at the brink of A and just made Ghost feel painful, feel really awkward.
This might bite compLexity right now, because they're taking a very long time here, Dallas, to actually get that bomb down. Steel is being able to progress on this flank more and more so.
They're going to boost. They're going to try and boost up over top of these boxes, possibly. Bomb's just now planted. Anybody that falls back through Palace is likely dead. That's nothing, but he is watchful. He is weary. This is is a critical fight. Virtually, I think if Steel wins this fight, it should be a really interesting retake. He does win that, but they're losing players on the front line. Wardell gets the refrag, and it's just down to those two players. Luckily enough, though, Stanislaw remains at a single HP. Can he last? To Steel's right is Sick. He's still alive down there towards A main. Should have the broadside shot, but Wardell defends it on the bomb. Right now, Steel just needs to stand in the way, cloud up the confusion, and Wardell falls off the bomb. He's now in a 1v2 clutch, and he's unable to do so, unable to convert with the bomb planted as it was. compLexity secure that round, and now looking towards victory soon enough.
Great positioning from compLexity there. We actually see really off the back of Stanislaw, who makes the first entry kill towards that connector, makes his way into the jungle area, and then into window, cuts off that entire portion of the map. Ghost Gaming just cannot retake it. compLexity don't have to worry about it. And at that point in the post plan, it really became on Steel to make something happen. Unfortunately, he gets caught very early by nothing, wins that duel, but by that time, the clock has burned down so much that they really got to pick up their pace.
So.
Double nades there onto Steel by the van area is going to put him down to 23 HP to begin this round. So that's going to prompt him to go a little bit more passive than he'd like. But overall, we are going to see Ghost Gaming playing a pretty standard setup, as well as compLexity running a pretty standard default.
Yeah. Just utility being hucked at one another one way or the other. And Steel on the receiving end of a lot of damage. He's back towards bench, and he'll just probably set up a campfire here and at least be a watchful eye to that B site. But the fact that he's so wounded right now probably would lead me to believe that Freakazoid's going to remain on Catwalk and not ever leave that site. I believe Freakazoid is probably the anchor to that site anyways, but he has to just be that much more helpful to Steel, and he can't leave him.
Alright, it does look like compLexity will be going for the mid control right now. Remember, they only need one round to close this one off, so every kill here is massive. Can they make it happen as they push up towards Catwalk?
That's right, first to 19. Ghost can only tie.
Oh,
Freak falls on Cat, and Steel's going to have a lot to ask for. Behind the bench right now, spotting Death, getting a couple headshots in. He does get the kill, but he is instantly traded out. Wardell fires off a warning shot and is caught by Shazam. Catwalk control still held by compLexity. Bomb will be planted, Cat. You've got 3 players on that side. This is going to be so difficult to unwind, and it does appear like compLexity are going to take this one. Kusta 1v4, and there's so much presence on Catwalk for him to be able to overcome.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ghost Gaming there, they decided to gamble stack towards that B area as Shazam does take down Kusta there to make this first map go the way of compLexity. This was their pick as well, though, Dallas. So this is a little bit harder than I do think they anticipated, but nonetheless, they pull it off 19-16.